So my name's Brendan Byrne, and actor, writer, director of I'm Here Too. Been acting for about 13, 14 years now, and then in 2011 I just decided that I wanted to sort of, plus acting, get into more of the filmmaking side of things as well. And so I started Shadow Wolves Productions in 2011 and started writing and started just making films that way. It takes its toll at times. Not just that side of it, obviously working full time, sustaining a marriage and being a fairly new dad as well. It does take its toll, but family's a passion, acting's a passion, and filmmaking's a passion. So to me, it doesn't really feel like any of it's work, but you just really got to focus. And I think that's what the film I'm Here Too is about. It's making sure that no matter what gets in the way, life getting in the way, your work, your job, bills, etc. You always need to make time to spend time with your family and your friends, because we get caught up in today's world, especially with you might text someone or see them on Facebook or something, and so that then fills that void of not being able to see them in person, and so we forget about it. And in actual fact, we probably haven't seen that person for months on end in person, so. Claire, the main character, she's dealing with depression. To the outside world, she's got this perfect little life. She's got the sweet boyfriend that brings her flowers unexpectedly, a best group of friends that support her, an older sister, a younger sister that sort of adore her, parents that are still together and in love, and big house, and she's got it all. She's got this perfect life, or so it seems to someone looking in. But internally, she's dealing with depression. And so it's hopefully going to let people ask for help, and it's also going to let the family members or friends be open to not spending your whole time in front of the computer or doing your work, or talking about boys on the phone or social media like the older sister is sort of doing, and it's going to get people to focus more on family time and not everything. Obviously, we all have to work, we all have to cook, we all have to spend time with family and friends. But it's the little things. It's the 1% of things that we forget about that really add up, and hopefully that's what this film is going to bring out in people. There's a stigma with depression and anxiety and things like that which is what I'm trying to change with this film as well. If you are walking around with a cast on your arm or plaster, people know you've got a broken arm, and they'll ask you, "Are you okay? What happened? What happened to your arm?" But if you're walking around with depression or anxiety or another one of the hundreds of mental illnesses out there, then a lot of people they can't see that. It's not a cast on your arm, so it's not physically being able to be seen, and so people, I guess, tend to believe it's not real in some respect. I've heard a lot of people say that they believe mental illness is something that's made up or fabricated in the person's mind, or the media has made them believe that. And it's my belief is no, they do exist, and whether you call it chemical imbalancement, as some people believe, or whatever it is, the issue is it does exist. And are you okay? Ask the question, but be there in support when the person turns around and says, "Hey, no, I'm not." You need to really be there and support that person as well. Because it's easy to say, "Hey, call me if you need anything," but when they do call you, are you going to be there? Well, yeah, we need to be. Yeah, I think if there's something on the TV and it's deep and it's emotional and it makes you question your own emotions, or it makes you question something where you say, "Oh, hey, my son or my daughter or my wife or whoever said this the other day, maybe they're dealing with depression or anxiety," then it makes you question things, and it makes your perfect little world not so perfect anymore. And people don't like to, people like to live in their bubbles, I think, and they like to be where it's safe and where they're safe, and live in this fantasy world that everyone around them is going to be okay. And that it's a perfect little world, when in fact it's not. And a lot of people have an issue with when they're confronted with that, I think. So yeah, I think that's why you don't see a lot of it. I prefer to put a comedy on and have a laugh at something, or watch some, Sylvester Stallone shooting someone up, a Rambo movie or something like that, rather than sit there and watch an emotional topic about dealing with teen suicide or depression, because it's not exciting, it's not fun or something that you can laugh at, or but it is something you can still talk to people about, and I think that's what a lot of people miss. It's there as a topic of conversation, especially being an actor. You tend to sort of, you come off a film set, and you've created this magical bond with all these people around you for such a long period of time, and you're like this family, and you wake up and you see each other every day, and you go to sleep and you wake up, and it's just so long and mentally and physically draining being on a film set. Most of the people on that film set, they see you later, and they don't see each other for quite some time, if ever. And so a lot of actors tend to are prone to depression because of that, because they feel isolated afterwards, because you come back to the real world, to a job, and to usually a household or people or friends or family that aren't in the industry, and they don't understand what you've just been through. And so it's quite isolating, it's quite depressing. It was terrifying for me to take on a topic like this and not do it right. Not really because of the media scrutiny or being ridiculed for not doing it right or doing it justice, but mainly for the family of someone that has just dealt with that. That's who I'm sort of really hoping that it doesn't have a negative effect with them. I mean, there's a huge responsibility when you do a film like this, and I said that from day one. And that's why I guess there were so many rewrites of the script. The ending had changed, 5, 6, 7 times, for the simple fact that it's not just a film. You could get 20 people in the audience watching it, and it might not be for 19 people, because they might watch it and go, oh yeah, cool, that was a good film. It's not for them. It's for the one person that's sitting there feeling the depression, feeling the anxiety, feeling the isolation that Claire's feeling, and saying, hey, all this that she's going through, I'm going through all this. And things change, people's minds change. I've spoken to people that had tried it, and during it, something had happened. They remembered something, or someone came in the room and they said, yeah, thank God I never went through with it, or thank God it never worked. So, we do change our feelings, we do change our emotions, and if you try these things, you may succeed, and we just don't want that. Suicide doesn't stop the pain getting worse. It just, it's one, stops your life ever getting better, but it also just passes the pain on to somebody else, i.e. your family. We had probably, I think it was close to 300 people apply. And then we obviously shortlisted it down, and I got it down to about 50 that had the right look and the right age and all that sort of stuff. And then out of the 50, I probably had 30, I think, all up that actually auditioned. And there's some really, really great actresses. And I had my top 3 picked. And Carol wasn't one of them. And Carol got her audition in online. It was a self-tape that she sent in, and she sent it in a little bit late. And when she sent it in, as soon as I watched it, I said, yeah, these 3 are great, but this is the one for this film. I had a tear in my eye watching her audition, and I thought, if I'm feeling this emotion watching her audition, imagine what she's going to do on screen. I'd work alongside her as a director or as an actor any day of the week. So yeah, acting alongside her as her dad, and then directing her for a suicide scene was quite emotional for me as a person, because as an actor, you sort of create bonds with certain people, and as a director, you create certain bonds with people. And so it was quite emotional directing her scenes, those particular scenes. My co-director, Marissa Kay, she jumped on board and really sort of helped out a lot in those particular scenes. I've only known Marissa probably about a year, a little bit over a year. The last short film I did was the Life of Baldrick, which was a comedy. That's where I sort of first met her. But on set, she wasn't just she wasn't just acting. She stepped up into the sort of first AD role, and she was doing 1,000 different things on the set. And so from there, just finding someone with that that passion and that drive and that commitment and loyalty. She said she's going to do something. She did it. It's kind of rare in this industry. A lot of people promise you the world and never deliver. If you need something, you say Marissa, and she's already done it. She's on the ball. So yeah, she's brilliant to work with. I only met Luke on another set of a film we did, Bleeding Backs, which I was just an actor in. So I showed up for one scene and one or two scenes, and that was it. See you later. And he was busy doing a lot of other stuff. But seeing him on set, I've worked with a lot of DOPs and cinematographers and stuff, and I knew there was he was very professional, but there was also a offset, there would be a sort of mateship side to him as well. He said, look, I'm busy at the moment, I've got a lot on my plate, rah, rah, rah. I said, read the script. If you don't like it, we'll work together in the future. And he gave me a call after he read it, and he said, mate, let's do it. He said, I'm keen for this, I really want to do it. Yeah, he was just, his amount of passion that he had for this project, only after reading the script and meeting with me once, I just knew it was going to work. And he's just an all-round, decent guy, and great professional on set as well. So yeah, I can't fault him. Definitely work with him again. Love to work with him again. People have different ways of dealing with their emotions. Similar way, people have different ways of dealing with their grief as well. If we start talking about it, and especially dealing with depression, talk about it. There's no shame in it. And that's the biggest thing that hopefully people will see from this, is there is no shame in being depressed. There is no shame with having anxiety. There is no shame with having any, if you mental disorder, illness, whatever you want to call it. There is no shame in any of this. Talk about it, because we're not all the same. We all deal with things differently, and we all need to start supporting one another. That's this stigma that's attached to suicide, is that it's wrong and you're selfish and people don't want to hear about it. Well, the fact is it's real. The fact is depression's real, anxiety's real, and suicide's real. And the fact is it happens a lot in teens as well, because they're going through puberty and they're going through all these new emotions that they're feeling and these new changes to their body, and trying to fit in with the rest of society on social media and all this sort of stuff, and people don't know where they belong. And so people get depressed about that. And they don't talk about it because then they're called, grow up, stop being an idiot. You're not depressed, you've got nothing to be depressed about. And they might not be able to explain it. You might feel like you've got the perfect life yourself, but what have I got to be depressed about? I've got the perfect life, but it's something up here that says, and something in your heart that says, it doesn't feel right for me right now. And you might not be able to explain it, and that's what people need help understanding. They need help understanding their feelings, because feelings aren't an easy thing to deal with. A lot of people can't deal with their emotions and their feelings. We need to support them. People need to speak up about it, and when they do, we need to support them. It's as simple as that.